Hi everyone, it's Karen, and I'm back to work on another page in our little lace and doily book here. And I've pulled out a bunch of stuff all over my desk, a bit of a disaster that you can't see. I did do the second page because that was the page that I talked about that I was going to put the pocket on. And I decided that with the number of pages in the book, it's going to be too long of a series if I don't do. So I'll do some with you on camera, and then some I'll do off camera and then show you before we proceed to the next one. So I haven't quite finished this page. I love this trim. I cut it off the edge. It's a double trim, and I cut it off, and it's got some stretch to it. And I want to tuck it in here. It does go really well with the colors. I also have these, they're little digital prints as well, and they're little fussy cut little dresses. And I have to look up, if anyone's interested, they can ask in the comments, but I'd have to look up where I got them from. I've had them for a while in my stash with plans on using them. And this project, just with the little girls and the little dresses, lent themselves really well. So I decided to use those in here as well. I've made a big deep pocket here. I said I wanted to put a pocket on the back of the front cover. And so this is a nice deep pocket made with this beautiful light taupey, sort of light coffee colored lace, flat lace from Kim's shop. And it is a gorgeous, gorgeous lace. So be sure to go and have a look and see, because this is so versatile. And I will leave links to the shop, AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy, in the description box below, and also links to the other designers who are currently making beautiful projects with products from her store. And you'll be able to just with a click go to the store, or also pop over and see what the other designers are making. I just put a non-stick mat in behind here, and then I glued down this, and this is printed on a heavy cardstock paper, and then I added this little bit of embellishment here at the waist, which is also a piece from Kim's shop. I had these tiny little pieces left. I still might have some on my desk, but unfortunately at the moment I can't see it. Oh, here it is. So it's this lace. I think she might even still have this in the shop. It's really pretty, and I just took that little circle off of there, and so you have the little flower piece. And I added that to the waist of the dress there. I'm probably still going to do something with the little bow and the little buttons. I haven't completely decided. I used a doily that I had in my stash from one of Kim's doily packs, and I think she still has the doily packs in the shop, and if not, you can always message her through the Etsy shop and ask her if she has any doily packs. And what I did was I just cut the center of the doily out and used that to create a frame around this digital picture of this little girl. I did back it with the felt again to give it, you know, it sort of puffs it up a bit. And I do print on 120 GSM paper, so it's a little higher quality than plain photocopy paper. It's more of a premium photocopy paper, so I find that the prints are nicer on that paper than on just regular coffee paper. And then this one I did on a heavier cardstock. Trim that's in the background here, I don't even, somewhere buried on my desk is that trim. If I can find it, I'll show it to you again. I just used a little piece to make a bow here on her dress, and I used a little piece here in the corner to gather up on this little pink safety pin, and then added a little crystal-y looking butterfly in the corner here that I made into a dangle on the corner there. And then down this side of the page, I used some of that pretty fan trim that was in my design team package last month, and used on the front cover of my journal last time, and I think inside that journal as well. I think I had 3 or 4 of these left, so I put 2 down this side of the page here. And then I also had mentioned when I showed these pretty little, I'm just gonna go in closer here. When I showed these pretty little butterflies in my design team package, I mentioned that I was probably going to try and make one into an angel Whenever I see wings, I always think of angels. I did use them in my last project as butterflies, and this one I did make it into an angel. So I just, with some wires, strung some small little pearly type white beads onto the wire, added a rondelle, added the little pearl for the head, or the pearly bead, and then another larger rondelle with some pink beads in it for her halo. And it's just on a bulb pin, which Kim also has the bulb pins in her shop. The beads are from my stash and the rondelles are from my stash. I E6000 onto that little base, and these beautiful little butterflies are in Kim's shop. And they're actually buttons. There is a or a charm, I'm not sure. To me, it's like a button, has the little shank on the back. I just left that on there. I'm going to tuck this lace in here, and then to me, I just like the way it looks, and I'm going to do that by just putting a little bit of hot glue there and putting it where I want it. And then probably I'm gonna do the sides, each of the sides first, because otherwise I might not get it right in the right position. So I just want it over on the edge here. And with the hot glue, you do have a few seconds to kind of pull things before it sets, so you can kind of get, you can put it on and then fiddle. I'm gonna add a couple of spots behind here. I don't want to see the glue, of course. It's good to attach it after I finished everything on the pocket, because then it's not going, I'm not going to pick spots that where like I wouldn't want to put glue right there, because to me it's going to show a little bit, and I just don't want that. So if I attach it behind things on the actual pocket, you can still easily get things in and out of that pocket. Grab some paper here, and it's a nice big pocket. It's going to fit lots of things. It would be really nice to put, you could tuck photos in there or an envelope in there with photos, if you were making this into a keepsake book, as I sort of envision it and how I'm creating it to be. That page is done for me. And I did put some of the fringe trim on the bottom here. I just ran it along the bottom of the doily. I'll show you on this one how I did it. And then I put the beigey type, this flat lace over the top, because it had a pretty scallop on it. So I just put that over the top when I added that on. And I thought that looked pretty. And I added some little acrylic flowers into her hair. She had a headpiece on that photo with some flowers, and so I added that in as well. So I think, other than maybe adding, like I say, something to the detail on those little buttons and that on there, which I haven't completely decided. I'll do a full flip through at the very end too and show you. Sorry, I made the camera move. I apologize. I will try to be careful not to do that. So let's do the next page. So the next page in the book is, this was the back of the front page that I just did. This is the first set of doilies. And again, they are sewn together to create that pocket in the top. So again, someplace to tuck keepsakes. I just got that pinned on there. I want to put that fringe along the bottom of the doilies there. So about here, I'm just gonna put a line of glue and I'm gonna pop that on. Not going to fuss too much about it because a lot of it gets covered as it was on this side. I started doing this one because I realized that, for one, I forget that I'm supposed to be doing it on camera. And two, my creative process is a very long process. I change and I fiddle, and the camera runs and runs and runs, and there's so much footage and so much for me to go through and edit out, because no one in their right mind would want to watch me fiddling. So I ended up, I again made a topper like I did on the front page, And then I will tell you what I've done, and it's easy enough to see, and then I'll finish it up on the page. So again, I've got the photo with the felt on the back, and then I put everything together and I attached it here and there onto the actual little digital photo. And again, I used a doily for the outside edge frame. And again, I cut out the center and I just used the outside of the doily as the frame. And I just place it on and a little bit of glue here and there to hold it down, because as you add on these pieces, it's going to be held down more and more with more glue. So less is definitely more. I attached this little dress on just here at the sleeve with some art glitter glue, and that's where I do use art glitter glue, and I use the art glitter glue to put this little tiny bit of lace here and here on the dress, adding it to the paper dress. And this lace also is from Kim's shop. It's just from a long time ago, but I had a tiny piece left, and it was the perfect, just cutting a piece of it out in this shape and then a tiny piece out to make the little collar there. And I'm gonna find a little flower or something to go at the neckline there, because you can see where it meets. And I think like a little, yeah, that one will do. That's just a little clay flower I have in my stash, and I'm just gonna put that on there so it covers a bit of that seam. I mean, you can still see the seam a bit, but I'm trying to follow me with a glue strand. There you go. And then I took the beautiful lace that was in my current design team package, and let's see if I can find that on my desk. I'm sorry guys, but like I said, when I start creating, it becomes a bit of a gong show. Okay, so this is the trim here, and I cut up the flowers individually, and I cut up these 3 leaves as well. And because it does have the pearls on the top, and I'm not entirely sure how they are put on, they're sewn on, I can see a thread, but sometimes the threads are buried with the machine stitching underneath, and so the pearls don't fall off. But I'm not sure how this was constructed, so I just added a bit of glue on the back of them and on the back of the leaves here before you start cutting, just to make sure that your pearls don't fall off. So that's the piece there, and I cut it up and I put 2 flowers here, a couple of leaves, another flower, and 2 more down here. Then I had 3 of these little rosebuds left from my design team package from last month, and I added those in. And I had 1 white bow left, and I believe Kim still has the roses and the bows in her shop. Then I added that trim again, which I found. Here it is. And it has the sort of 2 layers that are gathered together. And in this case, I took it apart because I wanted to layer the 2 pieces closer together. Here, there's a space of this much between the edge of this one and this one. And that got too, because I didn't want it fanning out that far on the page, it was too lost. And I still wanted to see both these lovely stitched piece sort of edging on it in behind this photo. So what I did was I cut them apart so I could layer them. I've just attached it on the corner here to make so that I have it set where I wanted it on that side, and then it will just come around the photo with the 2, just a few, basically. I just want them like a very small distance apart, just so that you can see each one. And then I'm just going to glue it on the back, put a little bit of glue there. And again, just doing what I do, and I use my glue gun to actually do the pressing of it in, so there's no burning of any fingers. You just can't hold it there, because obviously if you hold the edge of the glue gun there, it won't ever dry. It'll stay hot. But just to get it smoothed down, it works. I'll just flip it over, make sure it's all looking the way I want, and then I'm going to come around here, and I'm going to, again, do some attaching along here. Here it needed to be gathered a bit, so I pinched it together a bit, and then coming down the side here, I don't think it will need it, so I will just see how that goes, and I will just hold it in place and then glue it. Now I think this one is right on the edge here, the shorter one, so just go in and make sure that it's being attached in place, because otherwise it's just going to fall out. There we go. And my fingertips are very used to hot glue, years of using it, so I still do burn myself occasionally. Got a nice little 3rd degree there on my thumb the other day, but that was doing putting together a project for my grandson, and it was using big pieces of cardboard. If anyone of you follow me on Facebook, you saw the little fire engine that I made for him for an event, and that's how I burnt myself. Because doing this fine work I'm good with. Big projects, it's really easy, a lot easier because you're using more glue. Okay, so on this corner here, I want this to be tucked behind. I want it to sort of tuck behind the dress here. So I'm gonna put a final little bit of glue here, right behind the dress, so that it continues to curve down and stay in place. And I'm going to snip this off. Here's my doily here. I'm going to lift it up so that it's away from the one below, so that when I'm placing this on here, I'm happy. I just noticed here, behind here, it wasn't evident right away, there's a bit of the felt from the backing of the picture that I forgot to trim off. So I'm just going to trim that off, because it was going to show in that corner there. And I think the rest looks okay. So again, I'm going to lift that page up. Scoot that up a bit so you can see it. You can see the fringe on the bottom. And then I want to place this and decide how I want this on here. I want it to stay within the confines of the doily itself and not go too far off the doily. I like the fact that, and even when I was doing it before, I like that the dress is hanging off here a little bit. I just don't want it hanging too much off. I think I'm pretty happy with how that looks on there, so I'm going to glue it down. So we've got felt here that I'm gluing to. This little pearl is wobbling here, so I'm going to put the tiniest amount of glue underneath there because I don't want to lose that pearl. I'm going to do one more dab of glue in behind here and along the bottom and just hold that down in place. And again, the pages are very thick and I'm at the bottom right now, so I'm not going to be gluing into the pocket, but these are all things that if you're going to make pockets, you need to keep in mind that you want to keep that pocket free. And that's within the pocket, so after I glue, I just get my hand in there, and can also use these rubber mats. It will prevent you from gluing your pocket closed. But you can push that pad up against what you're doing, and then there's a way for the glue to seal and you don't get burned. So. And you can cut these smaller too. I've actually, was a bigger one. I'd cut it to this size. I have some smaller ones, but at the moment I can't lay my hands on one. Want to make sure that this is well secured down, because this is a pocket. So, you know, things are going to be taken in and out. I want to make sure that this is not going to be moving around. I'm just going to go inside here and I'm going to get some glue in there And of course it would be at the end of my glue stick, so it never, you know how they don't advance as nicely when you're starting a new glue stick. You often have to push on them. So not the greatest moment for that to be happening, because I'm kind of in an awkward spot. So let's just go in again and go along the edge there. Hopefully my head wasn't completely in the way. That's another thing with doing these tutorials, is that you don't have to necessarily be watching all of that when you're otherwise crafting at home, because if it happens, it happens, right? So I did use hot glue to finish gluing down this little dress here, because it is going on to the doily here, and it's okay against the paper, but against the doily it definitely seals better and faster. So we've worked our way out, we're nice and secure. We've got a little bit more here, and again, just add a little bit more glue in behind that dress. Sort of worked my way out from underneath so that it's glued down. And then we have just a bit here. To glue in place. Again, I'm just going to put my hand in there and make sure that the pocket is staying free. It's a nice, good size pocket. See, my hand is right completely inside there. It'll be really nice for putting, if you decide to use this as a keepsake book, it would be really pretty. Okay, so this can stay loose here, and this little sleeve on this dress and the top of this dress here need to be glued down, because otherwise they could catch and then the whole thing could come up, which you don't want. Again, just a little bit on this corner. I'm not putting a lot of glue on each time. I'm putting a small amount of glue on and then seeing how much more I need to add. I'm just adjusting the tassel there because it's going under the glue a bit, and I don't want it to be in the wrong place, lopsided, whatever, however you want to call it. Just a little bit of the digital again at the bottom here needs a little bit of trimming up. And then I will just make sure that that felt is, and again, I'm just going to adjust the tassel as I press that down so that it's lying nicely. There. Now when you lift that up, it looks nice underneath. I'm going to call that done, guys. So beautiful trim from Kim's shop, the mauvey or dusty rose one around the outside. Just a little thread there from when I sewed the pocket shut. This beautiful bridal trim that I showed you, and I've just cut it apart and put that down the side here. That's why I like to cut things apart, because instead of just having this and saying, oh, well, okay, I could fit that like that, and I could turn this and put this piece here. I just find that when you cut it all apart, you have so much more movement. And I only used 2 of these leaves. I didn't use the third one from the center. And so it is here. And I will use it somewhere else, I think. Let's just pop it in here and see what it looks like on the edge here. No, I like it without. So I will just keep that leaf. I like how you can see the doily showing there too, and shows here and here on the points, and you can see it here. And you can see the fringe out the bottom, and I think it looks really pretty. So that's the next page done. And I think we should do another page. Maybe what I'll do is just show you my ideas for the next one, and then I might just finish it up off camera. So again, I've put the fringe on the bottom of the doily. And what have I chosen? I've got a bunch of little bits ready here to go so that I can show you. So this is the little digital that I've chosen for this page. And so she's going to go on there. And again, this is that trim that was in my previous design team package from Kim's shop. And this is a reason why you never get rid of anything, because I just had this little bits left because I'd been chopping it up. And I'm going to use them to frame out this little photo. And then this is a trim I had in my design team package. This is the right way. Just looking at it, I was trying to decide how I could use it. And when I looked at it, I could sort of see a heart shape. And there it is. It's not, you know, a perfect heart, but it's a heart shape. And what that is this piece cut out of here and then this piece taken off. So I cut 3 of those out, and I'm going to use those to be like the corners on the photo, like that. And then I have another little dress that I'm going to put on here, and I'm going to put that on like this. And the reason I don't want any of the dresses to be on straight up and down. That's not a look that is pleasing to my eye. And I want this one positioned in such a way that I don't lose her hand. Her little hand is here. And so there's just the way that the cutout is on that dress. It fits perfectly in there like that. And then this is a piece left from a lace that was in my last month's design team package. Let me see if I can find what I have left of it. This is this one here. Again, I believe it's still, it's still in the shop. And I cut a little piece off because I just loved the way it looked, and I fit it on to this dress, and this will be the collar on that dress. And then it needed these little flowers here. I'm going to put these little acrylic ones on, and because it's on an angle a little bit, they're sliding. I wanted a couple of leaves, and I have leaves from this is the daisy trim from last month. I have a little bit left, but also any of the ones I used singly, I kept the leaves. So here's a couple of the leaves. And this is why I keep everything, because down the road, you never know when it's going to be the perfect size. And so those are going to go on here somewhere with that there. Making sure again that it's on the dress and not covering her hand. And then again, this pink lace here, it had these little pieces in it, and I cut that off to make the trim around the picture. So I have these little pieces left, and I'm going to place them on the dress in some fashion or other to pretty up that dress. I wanted to have a little bit more of something in the corners here. I think I'm going to use the daisy trim. Let's just cut one out and see. And I think I am. I'm going to put it there, I think. So I have that option, or I have the little flowers on this trim that I ended up using on the collar there. I have these as well. So let's just try the 2 different sizes, because they are very different in size, and see which one. Now, you might say something different than me, and that's okay, because that's how we all create, but I'm going to pop that in there. I like the smaller one better. I'm going to go with 3 of those. I think I have one on my desk somewhere, which is, you know, per usual. I think I remember cutting one out earlier for something else, and I always set them aside, but best of intentions, you know. they still get buried on my desk. I try and set things up above the top of my desk here, but that doesn't always work. So anyway, it will turn up and it will get used and it will all be good. When I decide to cut up my laces, I usually start on one end so that I end up with this piece emerging that has the flowers off of it. So I can use that like I did with the collar here, but I still have the other end that has all the lace intact as it came, so that if I want to use it as a whole, I haven't started cutting from both ends and limiting my use of it. So that's just a little tip I have. That is how that one is going to come together. I'm sure I will find something to go in her hair. I haven't thought about that too much yet, so that'll be coming. That might be the only other thing that I do that I add differently to that page. I'm just going to go ahead and I will glue that down. I will use hot glue and I will glue it the same way as I did the previous page. I will attach this dress in place to make sure that it's not moving. I will attach the frame part around the picture, and then I will put the whole thing down and then probably put the corners on. The little dress, I can finish it and I will use art glitter glue on that. I just find that the art glitter glue, I can use the fine nozzle to get a small stream of glue to apply these small little things in place. Easier, I will use hot glue to attach the acrylic, these little acrylic flowers though, because I find that that holds better. And these little pieces that I've cut out of the lace that are more like little appliques now, I'll use the art glitter glue on that as well. It takes a little longer to dry, but it secures fabric, small pieces of fabric like that really well. That's a total of three more pages done, and sort of my thinking and my process and my fidgeting and all the things that I do. And I hope you guys are enjoying watching her coming together. Please don't forget to go over and shop at AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy, and link in the description box below. Also check out the other designers. They're creating beautiful, inspiring projects. And like I said, I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye for now.